Have you ever made sushi at home and thought, why doesn't this taste like the restaurant? Well, today we're going to fix that. We are breaking down a professional chef's exact method step by step so you can make absolutely perfect sushi in your own kitchen.
So here's our game plan. We're going through 4 key stages to get you to sushi mastery. And we're going to start with the absolute foundation. And trust me, the secret isn't what you probably think it is. That's right. It all starts with the rice. You see, if you want to make sushi like a pro, you've got to think like a pro. And for them, everything, and I mean everything, begins and ends with the rice. Chef Taka Sakaeda really hits the nail on the head here. So many of us, when we think of sushi, we obsess over the fish. But the real art, the foundation of all that amazing flavor, it's in the perfectly seasoned, perfectly textured rice. Get this part right and you are well on your way. Okay, so what kind of rice are we talking about? You're going to want to look for koshi hikari. It's a Japanese short grain rice, and it's the go-to for a reason. It gives you that perfect texture, sticky enough to hold together, but where you can still feel each individual grain. Now, before you even think about cooking, you have to wash the rice. The goal is to wash off all that extra starch from the surface. If you skip this, you're going to end up with gummy, pasty rice. That first rinse, it's going to look super milky. Dump that out right away. Then you just gently wash and rinse over and over until the water is pretty much clear. This is a non-negotiable step for getting that perfect texture. So while that rice is cooking, it's time to whip up the sushi vinegar. It's a pretty simple mix: rice vinegar, sugar, and salt. But here's the pro tip: adding a small piece of kombu, which is just dried kelp. This little piece of seaweed adds this incredible, savory umami flavor that really makes the rice pop. And listen up, because this part is crucial. The second your rice is finished cooking, you need to get that sushi vinegar in there while the rice is still steaming hot. This lets every single grain of rice soak up all that flavor evenly. If you let the rice cool down first, it just won't absorb the vinegar correctly, and you risk making a clumpy mess. All right, our rice is officially perfect. Now it's time to get our fillings ready. And just like with the rice, the little details here make a huge difference. Believe it or not all cucumbers are right for sushi. You want to grab Persian or Japanese cucumbers. Why? Because they have way less water and fewer seeds than your standard American cucumber. This is so important because it means your rolls won't get soggy and you'll get a much better, crunchier texture. Okay, when you're using raw fish, you cannot mess around. First, only buy fish that is specifically labeled sushi grade and get it from a fish market you really trust. You're looking for a beautiful, bright red color. If you see any brown spots or rust color, that is a huge red flag. Avoid it. And always buy it on the same day you're going to make the sushi. And this brings us to the single most important rule of food safety here. Your raw fish has to stay below 41 degrees Fahrenheit at all times. This isn't just a suggestion, it's what keeps nasty bacteria from growing, so keep it cold. All right, the moment of truth has arrived. We've got our perfect rice, we've got our amazing fillings ready to go. Now it's time to put it all together and master the art of the roll. First things first, you need the right tool for the job. This is a makisu. It's that bamboo rolling mat, and it's absolutely essential for getting a tight, perfectly shaped roll. Seriously, don't even try to freehand it. This little mat is your best friend. But before we even start, let's talk about the single most frustrating part of making sushi at home, right? The rice. It sticks to your hands, it sticks to the spoon, it sticks to everything. It's enough to make you want to give up. Well, I've got a pro tip for you that is a complete game changer. Just pop on a pair of vinyl gloves and put a couple of drops of a neutral oil, like canola oil, on your fingertips. The rice literally will not stick to you. It makes spreading it on the nori completely effortless. Okay, let's break down the actual roll. Nori goes shiny side down. Spread on a thin layer of rice, but leave a little space at the top. Now here is the secret. Build up a small dam of rice at the far end. Then you place your fillings right up against that little wall of rice. This is what keeps everything tucked inside nice and tight when you roll. You just roll it forward, tuck that edge right over the dam, and give it a gentle squeeze to shape it. So you did it. You've made these beautiful sushi rolls, but we're not quite done yet. Let's talk about those final touches that are going to give you that truly authentic, delicious experience. You know this classic trio, right? But here's something you might not know. The pickled ginger isn't meant to be eaten with a piece of sushi. It's for eating in between different pieces to cleanse your palate. Then you've got your soy sauce for that salty umami, and of course, wasabi for that spicy kick. And here is a super cool fact about wasabi from the chef. The fat content in a fish actually mellows out the heat. So a really fatty piece of tuna can handle a lot more wasabi than, say, a lean piece of fish or a cucumber roll would before it feels too spicy.
And really, it all comes down to this. Making sushi might seem intimidating, but as Chef Taka says, it's just a few simple skills. Once you nail down the rice, you learn that little dam trick for rolling, it just takes a little practice. And before you know it, making amazing sushi at home will feel incredibly easy.
So there you go. You now have the professional's playbook. You've mastered the basics with a perfect tuna and cucumber roll. So the only real question left is, with all these new skills, what are you going to roll up next?